Welcome everyone to Around the ACL. It's Michelle Thompson here, and I am with Trey Ryder and Anthony Ione. And we're got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the Pro Invitational. We're going to talk about some of our pros coming up for the 2023-2024 season. Buy or sell, talk about teams and the changes that's going to happen there, and then some way too early award predictions. So definitely stick around to the end for that. But before we get into the Pro Invitational, how's it going? It's off season time.
Yay! Okay, this weekend I took the weekend off.
As you should.
I didn't do anything. It was awesome. Like I came in ready to work on Monday, and I was like, all right, now we're just borderline getting bored here. Let's get back to work. Like it was
a nice feeling.
It was nice though. I was re-energized. I laid out by the pool yesterday. Like what is going on? So we got heavy prep. Coming over these next 2 weeks for Spencer's, the Pro Invitational, Europe Open, but even some draft stuff. But for the most part, it's a different pace. When you're flying out Wednesday or Thursday, doing an event Friday, Saturday, Sunday to fly home Monday. You have to fit a week worth of stuff in 48 hours. And now we get a full week to do, work. Totally. So it's nice.
Things slowing down for you, Anthony, or no break?
No break. We've got some top secret R&D stuff going on in the cornhole science lab. Now we've been working on this one for a couple months now, but Trey got some of that equipment in, so got that stuff installed, built in, actually got some data now. So getting close to having this top secret.
You're about to nerd out?
Yeah, we're nerding out. But I'll spend a lot of time on that actually since we got back from Worlds and all weekend. Caught some basketball with my kid, between the lab, ran out, caught some basketball, then came back. But
nice.
Yeah, for us, it's all about school. Kids are about to go to school. You the same thing?
Yeah, Rome starts tomorrow.
Yep, same here. Yeah, our kids start tomorrow too. So that's kind of been a big theme here around the house.
He's very excited. 3rd grade. In 2nd grade, he had 4 different teachers because everyone kept getting pregnant. So we're just hoping for one teacher for the whole year. That's our goals.
We're talking about teachers getting pregnant, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we were joking around with his principal. We're like, so she gave a little information sheet about her on the back to school night or whatever. And the principal walks in, who we know very well. And Nick goes, 2 cats, gecko, married, 27. She's getting pregnant this year. Come on. This is happening. But the principal said no. So that's what we're hoping for. Just for one teacher for the whole year, hopefully. All right, enough of that. Let's get into it. Pro Invitational coming up at Spencer McKenzie's. It's going to be Friday, August 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. It's the top 8 men paired with the top 8 women. I'll give you a rundown of who we got for the men. Tony Smith, Alex Rawls, Jamie Graham, Mark Richards, Justin Burton Jr., Caleb Batson, Devin Harbaugh, and Fisher Hamilton. And your women are going to be Cheyenne Bubenheim, Cameron Belvin, Rosie Streaker, Kimberly Glass, Yeti Irwan, Miranda Coy, Samantha Finley, and Elizabeth Tennyson. So, Trey, thoughts on our top 8?
Yeah, so the Pro Invitational, in the early stages of the ACL's existence, kind of jumped around to different formats. But now this is the 3rd year with pretty much the same exact format. So it's exciting kind of see how this has evolved. In 2021, we had Cheyenne Bubenheim paired up with Ryan Smith. They take down she was Cheyenne Renner at the time. They take down the 2021 ACL Pro Invitational. Fast forward to last year, we were in Airmail City, 109-degree heat, but we got it done.
Brutal.
And Tony Smith and Kaylee Hunter take down the Pro Invitational. So in back-to-back years, we've had similar formats now for a 3rd year. And it's been fun, right? 3 years ago, we were on site at the 4th and final national of the season, the Final Chase. Last year was Airmail City. This year is Spencer McKenzie's, the Throwdown. So it's like every year it kind of has an exciting flair to this all-star game, if you will, the equivalent of what the ACL can offer for an all-star game. and I think it's always a good vibe and a lot of fun. So it'll kick off the weekend at Spencer McKenzie's. That's always, I mean, it's called a throwdown for a reason. And for me, it's a variety of different ways. I'm going to be throwing down not on the boards, but be throwing down absolutely on the grilled fish and shrimp burritos. I'm going to eat out 87 of those that week.
That's the goal. What's our over-under on burritos?
Yeah, over under. Do not set it because I will not be reporting what the final. So, kicks off the weekend and good times as well. So excited for this. Maybe diving into some analysis here of who I'm looking at. I mean, first and foremost, you got to look at who won it last year. Now, Kaylee Hunter's not in it this year, but you have a champion in Tony Smith. Tony Smith is looking to win this for back-to-back years. He's shown he can throw outside. He's playing at a really high level. He's your MVP. He's got all those different things. So tonight on ACL Live, you guys are probably hearing this on Tuesday. So you guys listening ahead of time will have more information than we do. But, we'll find out who his partner is, but I'm not really sure it matters. As long as they can throw the bags in the hole, Tony Smith can do a lot of special things. So certainly there'll be someone to look at. Whoever gets Cheyenne Bubenheim as a partner is obviously going to be someone that a lot of people are going to look at, mostly because number one female, dominant female. She won everything you could possibly win this year on the female side of the game. So she's going to be kind of that number one seed when it comes to females. But let's remember, she was kind of in the same position last year, and she got paired up alongside Mark Richards.
Yeah.
Now, her and Mark Richards, we thought we're just going to run through the competition.
Give them the money. Just give them the money now, and then nah.
and that's not what happened at all. I mean, they got taken down. They got to get taken down relatively early. I believe Jamie Graham and Sarah Cassidy.
This is 10 rounds, right? 10 or 12 rounds?
This is 10 rounds this year, yes, okay. To fit into the broadcast.
So, in their defense, that was not Mark Richards' best situation, round limit.
Well, no, last year it was played at 21.
Oh, it was 21.
Well, last year was played at 21 because we were in Aramale City. We were on TV. We could take as much time as we wanted. That's what that was the crazy part. It's like and I'll say this much. The culprit, I kind of went back and watched some clips last year. The culprit was the boards had that LA sun, 190 degrees, just beating down on the boards. There was zero moisture on those boards, and bags were just flying off the back of the board. I mean, neither Richards nor Cheyenne could really keep a bag. It was either in the hole or off the back of the board, right? Now, this season, maybe we'll talk about this a little bit later in our buy or sell, but I think a big thing that's going to be here is what the hell are the conditions going to be like?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we will be kind of inside an event space that'll be covered. And
it was cold.
Last year, I mean, we had all 4 seasons in one day at Spencer McKenzie's last year. We woke up, it was cold, and it got dewy.
Yeah.
Then in the early morning, the boards were so sticky because the dew was still kind of on there, even though the sun was out. Middle of the afternoon, it's hot. The sun is just beating on the boards. Everything's taking off the back. Then we got cold again and sticky again because the bags got sticky. Everybody was cold. I mean, it was just like this roller coaster, right? So I think I don't know what game time conditions are going to be like. It's going to be 4 p.m.-ish when we, 4:10 by the time we started getting into the game.
It'll still be warm because the sun's not even going to go down till 8.
So right. So
4 hours before sunset. So yeah, I think it'll be fairly warm.
So if it's fairly warm, assuming there's not overcast that day or any, I mean, again, or you're playing into it, and who knows how well climate controlled kind of the event building that we'll be in that's going to be on site at the fairgrounds. So, I think Tony Smith is prime. Jamie Graham has shown across his entire career, and now he's hot again. So he's shown across his entire career that he can play in any number of conditions and throw any type of bag. He's changed bags so many times in his career. I think he's going to be one to look out for. You can never, underestimate Mark Richards. If it gets really tacky for some reason, and it's really tacky because it is kind of pseudo outside, maybe I look to someone like a Fisher Hamilton who has absolutely dominated that dirty style of play. and it also affect the women too, right? I don't, Kimberly Glass, someone that you give her slick board, she's going to run 40 bags in the hole. If we got really slick conditions, I love that partnership. If I get really tacky boards, I don't want that partnership, right? So I think there's so many different ways that this would go for the Pro Invitational. But I think you got to look at the people that have won it before, have adjusted the conditions, that being Bubenheim and Tony Smith on the men's side. So ultimately, we see who takes it.
Anthony, what can you add?
Yeah, so this invitational, there's going to be a prize attached to this, right? Are we able to disclose that? What are we looking at?
Yeah, $50 grand.
Oh, 50 G's spread throughout the field?
Yeah, 20 grand for first.
Oh, that's significant. Okay, so even just qualifying as the eighth person, you're coming out with some G's.
$2,500 for if you lost your game. Yeah, if you lost your 10-round game, $2,500.
That's awesome.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. So it'll go is the TV broadcast just going to be the finals, or will you get to see the whole 8?
We'll see all 8 games because they'll all be 10-round. All 7 games. So you'll see the 4 quarterfinals, the 2 semifinals, and then the final. So 7 games total, 10-round limited.
Okay, so winners get 3 matches on TV as they work all the way through. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, like you said, I think the elements are going to be the unknown. I mean, if I'm looking at the men's roster, I don't really see. We're talking about the top 8, but I don't really see a weakness here. You've got Alex Rawls, who's been a top 2 guy back-to-back seasons. You've got your MVPs out there. JBJ been killing it all year. Batson turning it on really at the end of the season. Is it weird to say that maybe in this list, Devin Harbaugh is the one guy I look at who's maybe the weakness? That's crazy. That's crazy to say.
Yeah.
Because everybody really just turning it on towards the end of the season.
And then the only thing I would add to that is Devin Harbaugh won Spencer McKenzie's throwdown last year. So in this exact environment, he was the best player. So like even that, it's a really even field.
Yeah, and then like you were saying, there's those players that are very speed dependent. Their success is really dependent on speed. We see Tony Smith struggle with fast, now, especially with Slinky season. He has the ability to switch bags, and I think depending on who he ends up with. But we know if they're going to be slow, like you said, you mentioned Fisher Hamilton, Tony Smith, these guys are going to be more successful. Kimberly Glass, not so much on the sticky side. She's going to like it fast, and then in that shootout format, we have a lot of successful women. We have Bubenheim and Belvin, who showed out this season, obviously. Streaker, who's had a really good run. So if I'm looking at the women, I mean, I think it's, if I'm a guy going, who do I want? Obviously, you want a Bubenheim, but who are you trying to who's going to be the weakness on the women's side? Elizabeth Tennyson really showed out in one of the shootouts, but has shown that she just has a real up and down game. So maybe that's the only one from a consistency standpoint, but you're looking at, 8 women that could get out there and get it done as well. So I think it's going to be competitive either way.
Absolutely. I am interested to see if it is like a Tony Smith, Cheyenne Bubenheim, like what bags do they throw?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the bag selection is always something that comes into consideration with anytime we do these Pro Invitationals, because I mean, even when we went back to back when Miranda Coy was really throwing like wizards and she was back with BG and she was rolling like crazy, you put her with someone like a Matt Guy almost, like how does that bag selection translate? Now, I didn't see a ton of overlap there, but maybe someone like a Fisher Hamilton. Fisher Hamilton or Justin Burton Jr. end up with Kimberly Glass or Elizabeth Tennyson, who are throwing slick, Vipers or Viper R's with, or Tennyson's throwing Cornell Scenario. Like maybe that's where you get a little bit. That would be my big question marks. At least Tony Smith is throwing convicts a lot this year.
Yes.
So maybe him and Bubenheim would find some middle ground there. But I think you're right, Michelle. I think there's going to be at least one team where everybody's going, I have no idea what the hell these people are going to throw.
I will fall out of my chair if Tony Smith throws an evolution. Not going to happen. I will literally fall out of my chair.
Oh, I love it. I
really
Tony
hope that
Smith
happens
now.
So I think
see you fall out of your chair.
Oh my gosh, I'd be blown away. What we're starting to learn is if you look at a good carpet bag thrower's bag, go grab a high level, elite level carpet player's bag and look at that stick side. You're going to see a ring. You're going to see a ring that's probably like 3.5 inches in diameter. there's something going on there that I haven't been able to explain. And my guess is, these are players that are able to work backloads and tilts, and they're constantly landing on different angles. Think about an evolution. If the patch is too small and you put that 3.5-inch, 4-inch ring on a bag, and that's essentially where I'm thinking they're landing the most, you're missing the patch. So in a Tony Smith's case, he's trying to cut, he's trying to roll, he's continually landing on that slick material just outside the diameter of that patch, and he's not going to be able to get the bag to react the way that I think he wants to. So I would be blown away if Tony Smith comes out throwing an evolution. It's not going to happen, but I think there's a middle ground there for everybody. They'll find something.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's talk about our new pro class coming into the next season. We've got our rookies that are going to be qualifying through application and conference qualifiers still coming up. But at the moment, we have everyone that went through the big gauntlet of pro qualifiers. We have people that came through open standings, of course, our returning pros. So lots of names on there. Trey, we'll start with you. Who are you looking at?
Yeah, there's a lot of names on this list, right? I mean, I could take this a variety of different directions. I could go the youth. I could start talking about Sammy Soto, Braden Wilson, Ryan Trader, like all these, even like an Austin Cameron, or like all these young kids that have just come into the game. But I'm not going to do that because I feel like I could talk about that anytime, right? So I'm going to kind of take one step beyond that. Like who is beyond the youth, right? Who are some players that qualified and got into this group that I'm really interested, whether it be through open standings or it be through the pro qualifier, because those are most of the ways that we're going to get a lot of these rookies. One name in particular, obviously Caden Allen, already shown that he can win at the highest level with all of these different players. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. We saw him at the USA Cornhole Men's Doubles National Championship Final alongside Nate Stevens. He's someone that's got every single shot. Someone kind of Burton Jr.-esque. When he gets in a rhythm, there's nothing you can do to slow him down because he's got every single shot. It's just a question of, is he hitting every single shot at such a high level? I'm also interested in seeing Chris Roybal. This is one of the names that's coming out of the West that I really think has a chance to surprise a lot of people. And the first time that I heard Chris Roybal was when All Cornhole sent all of their sponsored players out to Arizona to film commercials. This was at the beginning of the last season. So this was 2022, 2023. At the end of 22, they sent everybody out there, and they all played in a blind draw. Chris Roybal went through Cheyenne, went through Frank Modlin, James Baldwin, Jordan Kamba, Frank Modlin, all of them, beat them all, okay? And everybody started to go, who? Wait, who is this guy, right? And I can't tell you how many messages I got throughout the year that was like, can you give a PDC spot to Chris Roybal so he could be promoted mid-season? I'm like, no, I can't do that. But it just goes to show you how many people in the Arizona area, in that state, how good they think Chris Roybal really is. So he's got a really unique delivery, weird arm action going on here.
Like a snake.
Anthony's going to hate his technique. But
I do.
He's like one of those golfers where you hate the swing, but when he makes contact, it looks
works.
good.
Everything's squared up. Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see him. Maybe some other ones interested. Mike Jackwitz is back. So he's someone who has now taken, I believe, 2 years off the game, but was a very good player and has made deep runs in pro brackets before. I'm interested in seeing what he has to offer. And then maybe two more. Dan Glogowski. I haven't got that name right. He came up to me. It made me feel bad at Worlds. He comes up to me. He goes, do you know who I am? And I said, no. And he said, oh, man, that makes me so sad. And he turned around and walked away, and I saw his name. I said, oh, I do know the name as I follow names in brackets, right? But I just didn't put a face with the name. He made it all the way to the finals of the state champions tournament. That state champions tournament at Worlds was full of top pros. He ends up coming in second place to Alex Hicks. But ultimately, if you're making it all the way in that deep field, he's someone I got to look out for. Then the only other one that comes through pro qualifier, Jeremiah Ellis. He's someone that's been on my radar for a while now as a top profile rookie. There's still a chance he may not sign his pro contract, but I think my gut tells me he will be a pro this season. But ultimately, He's someone outside of the ACL that has been dominant, and someone that a lot of people, you hear the rumblings on social media when people talk about someone becoming a pro for the first time. There's only been a select number of players in our history that have come with the same level of hype. Your Matt Guy, your Tanner Halbert, right? All of those guys that when they become pros come with a certain level of accolades already. I think Ellis is one in particular that I'll have my eye on. The question won't be, can he be good? The question is, can he live up to those expectations and compete with these other top pros at a top 20 level?
Anthony, what do you got?
All right, just for Rookie of the Year, and maybe this is a clarification that we've already established, but if you were PDC last year and you're now, are we considering those rookies moving in like a Vincent Frisch? Is he a rookie?
So if you've made 2 brackets, you are very similar to like an MLB qualification. So if you've made it into 2 brackets, you've competed at the highest level, then you are no longer a rookie. So Vincent Frisch is no longer a rookie.
Okay, 2 singles brackets.
Yeah, or no, it could be a singles and a doubles, but it's just
Okay.
It's a singles and a doubles or 2 singles or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. So yeah, I'm looking at this same list here. Some that are standing out to me, definitely Caden Allen. I think from a consistency standpoint, this guy's got to be at the top. What was it? I don't remember his run, but it was like, I want to say it was like 8 in a row or something, opens that he had won his or he was in the bracket finals or won his bracket, one of those two. Braden Wilson, we got to see this young kid highlight his talent on USA Cornhole. If you guys haven't seen that, go on the ESPN app and type in cornhole, and you're going to see the juniors event, the USA Cornhole Juniors event. You get to see Braden Wilson showcase his skills. This kid's going to come in and absolutely kill it. And for me, when we say what's killing it, we always get stuck around, oh, if you're not top 5, you suck. Guys, if you're in that top 25, the top 10% of the league, I think that is an amazing season. I think Braden Wilson's a 13-year-old that could come in and possibly crack that top 25 as a young kid and a rookie. What about Jamie Fincham? Is he on your side of the he's over by you, isn't he, Trey?
He's in Virginia. Yeah,
Virginia,
he's in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, and him and his wife Tiffany, they both qualified this year.
I did see that. And I remember her from back in the day, like even before I was a pro, like just coming into the league. I saw her showcase a few times on TV, and maybe this is before she was a pro and it was something else, but yeah, Jamie Fincham, I want to say he was with Ryan Smith. I want to say it was in one of the opens, and they did really well, maybe the finals or something like that. But I've seen his numbers quite a bit, and haven't gotten to break his game down as much, just judging by the age. I think we know what style of game we're going to get, but he throws up insane PPRs and insane numbers. Another young kid, I was actually surprised to see multiple young kids already on the pro list. Braden Wilson, Ryan Trader, and not so young Frank Verona. I think he's over 20, but those 3 are going to be awesome young
20
talent.
years old. He's an old guy now.
He's an old guy. He's an old guy. Also on the USA Cornhole Juniors, you're going to get to see Ryan Trader. If you haven't seen him, go check out that broadcast. And then Verona is one that keeps showing up. Tall kid. There's very few people that when I go out to, I'm looking up to in the league. I'm not tall, but I'm not short. I don't know, that young kid, he might be 6'2", 6'3", but he's tall and lanky, but he's got a really, really good game. I'd look out for him. And then of course, back to the USA Cornhole Juniors, a lot of juniors. And I'd be curious to see who falls out of the juniors, because we only get 8. And Trey, maybe you know those, but Sammy Soto gained his pro card, winning the USA Cornhole Juniors singles championship. Like Braden Wilson, I think he comes out right away and threatens top 25. What juniors did we see fall out, Trey? Do we know that yet?
Yeah, so we were able to take 9 this year. So we were able to get an additional one after continuous betting regulator conversations. So we will have 9. But so you have, if we go through them all, it's Sammy Soto, Ryan Trader, Braden Wilson. Those are 3 that qualified via the open standings and everything. You still have Alex Hicks, Ian Cripps, Jake Gore, Jack Gore. Did I already say Wiedenfeld? I already said Wiedenfeld? No, Wiedenfeld. And then
one more.
I'm missing my one more. There's one more that I'm missing. Put me on the
Keenan
spot.
Allen aged in now. He's not.
He's out. Batson is over 18
He's
for the Pro
over.
Invitational.
Hamilton's over.
Hamilton's over, and I'm missing somebody. I'm going to get a message
Bella
about it somewhere.
is Bella.
Bella's still in. Bella's TBD. She's not in that current list right
She's
there.
not that 9 though. Okay.
Yeah, there's one more, and I can't remember where that.
A returning or a new?
It could be either.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank
Mystery
here.
Junior is out there.
Yeah. I know I'm gonna get. We're gonna get yelled at so hard for this.
It'll probably come before the end of the show, right? I mean, just give it some time.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
300
actually,
players. It's hard to keep track of everybody.
I know.
So true. All right, let's move into buy or sell. I'm going to read
Vincent
you a line.
Frisch.
Got him. There he
Nailed
is,
it.
Vincent Frisch. Yeah, yes. And I just mentioned his name too. So yeah, PDC coming in as a pro.
That's all your fault. That's all your fault.
Son
you
of
should have thought of it.
It was Anthony's fault for sure. Okay, let's go to buy or sell. I'll read you a line, and then you guys let me know if you're going to buy or sell. The first one is next season's rookie class will be better than this year's.
Ooh, this is tough. You're talking got to be better than Justin Burton Jr. You got to be better than Fisher Hamilton. You got to be better than the long list of players that
Gavin Cano.
had Gavin Cano, right? I mean, I'm going to say similar talent level, but because the division is going to continue to get harder and harder and more difficult, I am going to say sell, that they will not be better finishing wise than this year. I mean, think about it. This is the first year we're not doing 60 plus applications. So in theory, you're taking probably, and it may be more towards the bottom, but you're taking 30 people that would have made it via application that may have had not the same level of on the board qualifications as previous years and replacing them with 30 people that qualified the hard way. So I think it continues to get harder and harder to win. So I will say sell.
Anthony.
Agree 100%. And we've been saying this for a while. I think we're going to start seeing these national champs and start seeing these finals with new faces. We're not going to be seeing the same people. We're going to start seeing 17 seeds, 25 seeds sneak into championship matches like we didn't expect, because that's just how tight the talent's going to be. Back in the day, it was like, we know the finals is going to be these 10 guys. Now I think you can go, it could be any of these 40 guys. So I agree with that. But yeah, to keep up, I mean, look at it. You got a JBJ, 5th in singles, 3rd in doubles. We had 5 rookies inside top 10 in doubles. JBJ, Hamilton, Chamberlain, Cano, Kingsbury slipping in there at the end too. So That's a tough rookie class. I'm going to, I don't remember how the buy or sell goes, but I think that last year's class is going to outplay this class. And then what Trey was saying with just the deeper talent, that's just like the exponential on there that makes it more difficult.
So two sells. All right, second one. Jamie Graham has a better season next season than this year.
Hey, you know what? I know he just won a singles world championship. I'm going to buy it, right? I think if you call it a season, it's obviously so skewed that he won the biggest and most important one at the end of the season. I get it. But if you look at his overall season and compared to previous years, it didn't live up to his expectation. To him, it's not going to matter. He caps it off big. I think he has a better overall season next year. Whether or not he wins the singles world championship, that's really a coin flip with some of the best players in the world. But ultimately, I think he puts together a much better resume. I'm going to say buy.
Anthony?
Yeah, Jamie Graham put us through a little bit of a ringer last year. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I was bought into Jamie Graham. Actually, even when he started to fall, he never fell off my top 10. He went from like 1st, 2nd to like 4th, 5th. I kept him in the top 10 even when everything was falling apart. And for that reason, it was like Jamie Graham wins a world championship. Not surprised. Like, even if he was the 50th ranked player, I'm not surprised there. I think the difference is going to be in doubles. He was finished the season ranked 3rd in singles, 15th in doubles. I think that's where he can improve next season. Where he goes with his partnership, we don't know. Staying with Matt Guy, probably not. Maybe. We don't know. Can a bag sponsorship, can a contract force that partnership back together? I don't think so, but we just don't know. I think it's where the doubles partner ends up to answer that question. But I'm going to buy as well. It's Jamie Graham.
The mother in me doesn't want to read this one. We will see a dip in performance of Cameron Belvin and Cheyenne Bubenheim next season after having their first child.
Yeah. So this is, and Michelle, you speak to this one better than all of us, right? I mean, you know what that takes. I am actually going to sell it, and the reason I'm going to sell it is because both of these ladies, this is now what they're doing, right? This is their full-time job, right? And so for them, I think they'll take some period. They'll take obviously a time, right, to have that. But what I think is also great is they have two like great support systems, right? They're both of their husbands, boyfriends, fiancés, whatever they want to call each other. I mean, they're good support systems. They know what it takes to be at that high level, and they know how to keep each other grounded and focused. So I'm not expecting too much of a dip here. I really think, if anything, it gives them more extra motivation and may also give them a higher level of focus. Who knows?
I will say it all depends on whether or not their babies sleep. That's what I'm going to say. Because if their babies sleep through the night, they'll be fine. If they don't, it's going to be rough. Anthony.
I mean, let's be logical about this. Like you're saying, you're adding a whole nother person that depends on you 100%. Whatever your routines were before to be at the top level, all that's going to change. So my logic is saying, yes, absolutely, we're going to see a dip in performance, but maybe that dip is in the earlier Open series. But by the time we get to the start of the National Series, all the way into next year, they found that routine. They have this functioning system like you were talking about. Both have committed spouses, or significant others in this that are committed to the game as well. So that's a good point, Trey. I think that they help pick up some of the slack, but logic says that we're going to see a dip. I mean, it's, but Rosie Streaker's a good example. We saw her come back essentially. She was at the top of the game. We saw her go through a dip, where she's at now. She had two babies. That's just double trouble.
She took a full year though, right?
Yeah.
Do we see not taking the full year off, but do we see like a little bit of a step back, right, for a year?
But then Rosie comes back knocking down 11,
right.
11.02s in whole tournaments. So I think they rally back eventually, but we will see a dip in the beginning.
All right. Number 4, bad chemistry will determine the Pro Invitational champion.
Yeah, I'm going to sell this. I get it's going to be a factor, but I ultimately think what's going to decide it is going to be who adjusts best to the conditions. I already said it once. We're going to see a variety of different conditions that, they're going to walk in the building one day, say, I'm going to throw this, we're going to play like this, and then it's going to change. So ultimately, I think it comes down to which pair of players can best adapt to the conditions. I think some are better than others, and I won't know until their partners are lined up.
Anthony?
Yeah, I look at the 8 guys. All these guys can throw any bag, except Tony Smith throwing an evolution. I'll just bring that back out. But all these guys can throw any bag. You put anything in their hand, they're going to be successful. I don't think bag chemistry is going to decide it. Go to last year, like you said, Tony Smith and Kaylee Hunter. Tony Smith throwing a fire bag. It's completely out of his brand. Now he's going to find something that works, but I don't think it's a factor.
I think Tony Smith is going to throw an evolution just to prove you wrong.
Oh, man, that'd be awesome.
Next season, we will see a larger influx of super teams and doubles.
I think the pressure's on for a lot of these top players. I'm going to buy it. I've heard some rumors. I think this is going to be a super team central at the top of this pro division right now. No more A player, B player. It's going to be A+ and A++ teaming up. I'll buy it.
Anthony?
I agree. It's becoming jobs. It's becoming careers. It's becoming paychecks. The coming into the league 4 or 5 years ago, it was like grabbing your best buddy and you're like, hey, we both qualified. Let's do this thing. Now it's like, how can we make the most amount of money and improve our brand? And I think that's where it's going. And like you were saying, the rumors are leading that way. We're gonna have it. It's gonna happen, and I can't wait to expose next season.
I can't wait either. Next up, we have our first Open and Pro Teams draft information to give you. It's going to be October 6th through 8th, and that is going to be the Open, the Rookie Combine, and the Pro Teams draft. So the pro teams will be similar format as last season with just a few modifications. Captains will be returning and they get to keep 5 players from their roster. Everybody else is redrafted. And then the game record determines the record this season. No matches in regular season, only in playoffs. Trey, can you give us the details there?
Yeah. So it's exciting. So first on the weekend that's coming up, I mean, something that's exciting is going to have a first ever combine. And this is going to be music to Anthony's ears, right? When you talk about like being an analyst, right? Having something, for people to look at when it comes to a draft, right? So all the rookies going to go through a skills challenge, details to be released, but it's going to be things like, all right, let's throw a deck around. Let's see how many bags, throw a bunch of deck around, see how many bags that you can put in the hole, see how much you can score. And then there'll be, stations of dealing with a block, right? Put a block in the middle of the board, right? Give you 4 bags. How do you deal with it? How are you, managing what it means to deal with a block, things like that. Setting up certain shots, a straight airmail show, right? How many times can you airmail out of 10, out of 20, whatever it may be. So is it directly like cornhole? No. Is the NFL Combine directly what they're going to see on the field? No. But it's going to give captains a chance to see some of these rookies and see some of these players that they've never seen before for the first time. And I think that's going to be super important when we look at trying to build a roster for their teams next year. So that's exciting. The pro teams draft, and we won't air every round this year. We'll only air a number of rounds, so we don't have to go late into the evening. But I think the team's draft is going to be fun this year. I'm not going to be the only one producing it this year. We're going to have a good team behind us. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be exciting. There's going to be some cool new bells and whistles, and it keeps getting better each and every year. And then overall on the format side, getting rid of match records. So teams next season will play 7 games, but instead of it just being a best of 7 and whoever wins 4-3 or 5-2, it's 1-0. It's really, if you beat a team 5 out of 7, you go 5-2, then your record is 5-2. And in the next game, if you go 4-3, now it's 9-5 is your total record, right? So it keeps that more of like a baseball type of regular season, and only during the playoffs are we playing that true best of 7 format. So ultimately, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Interested to see which captains keep which players, and then what the drafting strategy looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony, any questions or anything you want to add?
Yeah, for sure. So I think maybe this is more of a comment because I think we're still trying to figure it out, but definitely on the combine, that's going to be huge for us to just get some data going into the draft. Now, hopefully there's a big enough sample size where we, can take out the outliers and all that. Cause I can come in and throw a 114 deck around today and then an 85 tomorrow. So hopefully it's like, something that's, like an airmail challenge, 100 or something like that to get a really good base versus, just go up and throw 15 airmail. But that'll be key going into the draft to give us some data about all these rookies coming in. Because locally or regionally, you may know these players and you might, the whole state knows about this guy. But when you look at the national level and we're dealing with thousands and thousands of players, it's hard to keep up with everybody. You know the top 10 probably in the nation, but if you get into 15, 20, you might not necessarily know everybody. So that'll be good. On the draft, Trey, I think we're having some changes to the draft, right? Do you can you describe those really quick, like number of players we're keeping and things like that?
Yeah. So each captain will keep 5 players, and so from there, once you've kept your 5 players, you're redrafting everybody. And then the order of the draft will be in the reverse order of the standings, right? So, for example, I believe the Virginia Cutters finished dead last. So they're going to be number 1 to draft at that top position spot. So trying our best way to maintain some parity.
Yeah, I think that's important so that regions can get behind teams when they start to see the same familiar faces. But if it's always different people, it's hard to get connected to that team.
Draft in October attached to an open.
October 6th through the 8th. And then the draft will be on October 7th on that Saturday. And then October 8th on October 7th will be the draft. The combine is the 6th, the day before.
Okay.
And the combine is for rookies only, or is like returning?
Correct.
Okay.
Rookies
So
only.
if it's
The
like
idea is, yeah, just seeing people that you haven't seen before, right? I mean,
okay.
not all of it is like how I hit. Maybe if it's the airmail challenge, I may not draft someone that I know can hit the airmails every single time, but if I get to see someone throw in person and see how the bag comes out of their hand, right? I might say to myself, well, that person may not have played well in the skills challenge, but I can see the talent. Like I can watch them and how they approach the boards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then X number of rounds will actually be televised, and then there's a certain amount of rounds where they'll just go round table, right?
Correct. Yeah, I haven't hit that exact number yet of what that looks like, but yes, the idea is this time. I think the feedback we got, we don't need to televise 10 rounds this time. We can televise a certain number, maybe 5, and then do the rest off air.
Roger that. Let's do it.
Let's get into our way too early award predictions. We are going to give you guys our early predictions for the 2024 ACL Pro season, starting with Rookie of the Year. Who you got, Trey?
Yeah, a lot of names could be on this list. I really like Jeremiah Ellis, but I'm going to go Sammy Soto. He's already shown he can compete at the highest level. He already beat a lot of these rookies and these young gun juniors in the USA Cornhole Juniors National Championship. I'm going Sammy Soto.
Okay. Anthony?
This is crazy. We just finished the season yesterday, and we're picking rookies of the year for next year.
Here we
What's
go.
going
Let's
on
go.
here? Hey, I don't hate it. Sammy Soto could easily come in and do the thing. I mean, he's a guy who is throwing consistently with Justin Burton Jr. and Logan Chamberlain. These are the guys that he's being challenged by and being developed by. But I can't deny the consistency we saw and the high-level play we saw from Caden Allen last year. So right now, I'm going to go with Caden Allen, Rookie of the Year.
And I'm going to go Braden Wilson.
Nice.
So pick 3 different ones.
Remember the Gore kids. I love it. And just like something to compare to. What was it? Jack Gore came in and ranked 118, and then Jackson came in and finished 12th. So you could get either side of that. But yeah, I think Braden Wilson has it here. He seems to, the way he takes losses, the way that he handles the pressure, he seems to already have that figured out. So I love that.
He's very mature. Yeah, he's very mature. Even the way he approaches interviews or I don't know. He seems like he's cut different than a typical child
he's
his
built
age.
Different.
He's built different.
Yeah. All right. Breakout player of the year, Trey.
This is tough. I tried to look through like who is someone that came in, and 2 names came to mind. My second place, I got Trey Hunt, someone that's got a really high level of play, but suffered an injury this year that really held him back. And I think if he gets some off season to get healthy, he could be someone that could flirt with it. Ultimately, my pick, though, someone that did finish top 50, but they were right at like 48. Someone at the World Championships that looked unbelievably good and has been practicing with the best of the best pros. I'm going to go breakout player of the year next year, Blaine Rozier.
Yes.
Blaine Rozier. Okay. Anthony?
I had a couple on my list. Blaine Rozier was one of them, 48 in singles, 41 in doubles. I had Getty out there who was like in the mid-50s. I thought Nick Williams did really well, but I think his family structure is a little bit different. Kids, career, that kind of thing. Ian Cripps has the ability, I think, to break out, who was 35 in singles, 62 in doubles. I'm going to go with the guy that was back 30s in singles, back 30 in doubles. Ethan Walker, I think, a breakout player next season.
Oh.
I like it.
I was toying around with a few names as well. I went way down the list, though. And ultimately, I landed on someone that came right at around 100. And I saw a post on Facebook that made me think this player is going to come back a little bit stronger this year. I picked Tyler Cobb.
I like it. I do like that one actually a lot. I didn't realize you were so far down there. That's a steal.
Good. All right. Now we have a new category. Trey, will you explain this new category before we get into it?
Yeah, comeback player of the year. This is someone that had the best comeback, right? Someone that maybe had a really strong year, then 2 years or a year where they didn't play as well and now have really had a resurgence, right? Every other sport has a comeback player of the year. We originally didn't come out with it because the league was so young. It didn't make sense to have someone come back when the league's only been in existence for 3 years. But now we're at a point where we are in the growth of the league. Comeback player of the year is something that we feel like that we can add. So for me, There's a lot of players that could be on this list.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a lot. I had Josh Holland on there. I had Tanner Halbert on there. I had Noah Wooten on there. I mean, all players that were at the top of the game. And then last season, we just didn't see the same level of play that you expect that comeback. Ultimately, I'm going to settle on Noah Almanza as the ultimate comeback player of the year next year.
He was on my mind as well. Who you got, Anthony?
Yeah, he's on my little short list here. Coming back, we got a Matthew Sorrells showing up on the pro list, who was a top guy gone last year. I think he's still playing at a high level, playing with your Alex Rawlses and your Blaine Rogers. If you've ever seen the feeds of them throwing like on the dock next to the water, I believe that's Sorrell's crib or his property. Some OGs. You got a Derek King who I feel like could come back. Where's Cambo, Baldwin, Timothy Pitcher? All these guys we saw back in the 17s and 18s. I would love to see them come up. Matt Morton, 202. I just don't see that comeback though from a technique perspective. He's got a redo of his whole swing. But I'm gonna go with Sorrells just for fun. Just for fun.
Okay, I like that one. I was thinking about a couple people, and I don't know if I actually picked one, so I'm just going to read them both. But either Eric Anderson or Eric Davis. So the two Erics. I think they both.
Eric Davis was on. That was one I almost had on my short list, but I couldn't add him because my short list would have become a long list.
A long list, yeah. Okay, he's on my short list. So I think either one of those guys can be a comeback player this year. Look forward to seeing it. And of course, our last category, our MVP for the 2024 season, is going to be.
I'll go with the singles world champion, Jamie Graham, gets back on track. I said he's going to have a better season. I think he can have a better season whether or not he wins the world championship or not. I'll say Jamie Graham really bounces back and is the man next year.
Anthony?
Yep, there's three names on my list, and he's definitely one of them. I can't get over how consistent, though, Tony Smith and Mark Richards were last year. We saw Tony Smith more on broadcasts through doubles and singles. If you look at them both, always there, seemed to be in the final. But Mark Richards, if you look at his season, the dude never finished like less than second in his bracket like the whole season. So he was always right outside of TV, if not on TV. I'm going to go Tony Smith again. Back to back.
Wow.
I also had Jamie Graham on my list. So I'll give my other one, which was Devin Harbaugh. He's due. He was always just right there. That's there.
A big jump. That's a hot take, Meesh. That's a hot
he's
take.
going from a little inconsistent to the most consistent. I like it, Michelle.
I think he can do it. All right, now we go. You guys just said that was a hot take, but now we have to actually talk about our hot takes. So, what do you got, Trey?
I got a scorching one. I say Jamie Graham wins 2 singles nationals next year.
Dang, 2 singles nationals. Okay. He looked so good at Worlds; it was insane.
Yeah, and he's gonna be focused. I mean, he's gonna be focused.
I don't doubt it.
All right, I'm gonna look to the future as well. I would do a hot take on Spencer's if I had the full roster. The Pro Invitational, if we knew those partnerships, that would be a good hot take. But I'm gonna look to the future as well, and I'm gonna say we get 4 in a row. KB and Eddie grab the first nationals doubles, and I think they're one of the few doubles partnerships that actually stays together. I don't have any inside information. That's just gut.
I would have to agree with you that they aren't going to break up. I would be pretty surprised. I'm going to go Pro Invitational, but obviously I don't know the team, so we're just going to pick one. But I think Tony Smith's going to win it again, no matter who he gets. I think he can bag any person. I think Tony Smith's taking it. It's round limited. I think it's his back-to-back seasons. All right, that's all we got time for, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.